Welcome, welcome, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Megan. This is Hobby Talk, my floss tube videos where I talk about cross stitch because that is hobby numero uno. And yeah, it was a productive month and then also kind of not. So welcome if you are new. Thanks for tuning in. If you are a repeat offender, thank you for coming back. I just really quickly at the top wanted to thank everybody, I guess. My my last video has like almost 400 views. And I'm like 5 people away from 300 subscribers, which like... I mentioned the numbers and then I'm immediately about to tell you that I don't care about the numbers because I don't. But it's just the way I'm thinking about it is that's 400 people who like dropped by to say hello. And then 300 people who cared enough to like stay in touch. You know what I mean? That's a lot of people. I don't think I have met 300 people in my entire life. You know what I mean? I don't think I've met 300 people. So thank you for a spike in numbers, I guess. I logged on this morning to like start getting organized to make this video and I was like, thank you. Anyway, thank you. My plans for this video is to show you my whips, my finish, my haul, talk about my plans, talk about books. I have a moderate life update, which I'll tack on at the end. Yes. So let us dive into cross stitch. This is the second wrap-up video in 2022. Yes, it is because it's February. And my goal for the year is to have, well, I have 3 razor focus projects. Yes, because I finished. Yes, I have 3. Wow, I'm sorry. We're having a day today. 3 projects that I am fully focused on for the entire year of 2022. They are actually rollover projects from 2021, so sorry about the repetition, but also progress, so it's fine. Last month I did too much on one of my projects and I actually finished my quota for the year, so that one's not in here. Normally I show one of my boho owls from Sandra Vargas, charted by Gecko Rouge, but I didn't work on it this month, so I'm not gonna. I actually only worked on 2 projects. A lie. I worked on 2 projects and a surprise 3rd project, which is very happy I got to work on. So I have 2 finishes and 1 whip. So I will show you my whip first, and then I will show you my finishes. So my whip is my favorite project ever, my ride or die, till death do us part, the love of my life. Yeah. This is June Blooms by Margaret Morales, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I think I did a lot of stitching on it, but I don't think I got a lot of noticeable progress. I can't remember where I was last time, but I pretty much have a page left till the end because I pretty much finished half a page of the last full page, and then it's almost half a page on the final page. Page, 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 page. So I have, I think, a page left until I finish the row, and then I get to start the next row, which is where her face is. And she's so beautiful. That's her in my little needle minder. Here I come! I'm coming for you! Anyway, I love stitching on this. This is stitched 1/1 on 25 count something. It's nice. It's a nice, like, buttery fabric. Oh, it's so nice to stitch on. And it's not white, it's like a very pale peachy beige color. When, you know what, when I went to go on, maybe I already told this story, but when I went to go and pick up this fabric from where I got it from, the lady was like, I wanted like something funky to stitch on for this Haid, because in my mind, I was going to be looking at the fabric for years. Right? Like, eventually it would be a finished piece, but in the time that I was stitching it, it'd be like years. So I didn't want something boring fabric to stitch on. So I was like, oh, can I, like, what do you think about this? And the lady was like, no, me. You should get white or beige. And I was like, I don't want white or beige. And then she tried to sell me the grid fabric, and I was like, step back, because I hate gridded fabric, like the pre-gridded fabric. That was last year's problem. This year, we're going to try not to mention the gridded fabric ever. Anyway, so this was like a happy medium where I got the fabric that I liked, and she wasn't judgy. Yeah, I don't know. She's done that to me too. She's very lovely. But I tried to buy, I went in a couple years ago and I asked for the sulky threads to see if they had them so that I could use them to grid. She was like, why would you waste your time gridding? And I was like, because it makes so much more sense if it's gridded. She's like, but you should buy gridded fabric. I'm sorry, I'm making her sound like a troll, but she's a very lovely lady. She's opinionated when I don't ask for her opinion. I'm buying your product, sell it to me. Anyway, wow, I'm sorry. Tangent over. That's Junie. Yeah, I have probably about a page left. Oh, and I can show you my progress because I have my tablet here. Oh, and I can tell you how many days I stitched on her because I brought my book this time. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Hold on. Okay. It's fine. This is my 2022 stitching book. Look how pretty it is. Ooh, ah. Okay, I am at 16.35%. And I think the last time I talked to you, I was somewhere in the 15%. So I've bumped up a whole percent in a month, which is not ideal, but you know what? Every stitch counts. So I stitched on her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days so far in February. And it's only the 26th, so I'm going to stitch on her today, tomorrow, and probably Monday. And then we're into March. I can't believe we're already into March. Anyway, that's June Blooms. That's the only whip I have because... pardon me. Because the rest of them are finishes. So I have... Okay, I have a surprise finish. I did a... Okay, story time. Another one. I did a tote parade at the top of January, I think. And in the tote parade, I found a project that was so close to being finished, I just didn't have enough beads. It was a project that I was doing beads for, and I just didn't have enough beads. And then last month in my haul, I bought the beads, although, like, I needed, like, 5 beads from the new pack. So, like, what a waste of time. Anyway, so I bought the beads, and then I thought I finished my other finish at, like, a weird time in the week. So I was like, I don't really want to pick up June yet, so I'll just stitch these. And so I think I stitched it. I finished this, I think, in, like, a day. One evening of stitching. And the pattern is this one. It's a freebie from Ink Circles. And I did it beaded. I did the whole thing in beads because beading is one of my favorite things. The Miras and the lavender and laces that I've done, obviously all have beads, and it just makes my soul happy. So here is my surprise third, actually this is the 4th finish. Surprise 4th finish of 2022. Look how pretty. Wow. Yeah. Ugh, I love it so much. I don't know how many stitches this was. I don't remember the color of the beads. It's just done and it's pretty, and I'm gonna turn it into something cute eventually. But for now, it's gonna go back into probably my tote. Ugh. I really should call it the tote of shame, because there's just so much in there that I could be doing more with, and I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. I'll worry about that some other time. Okay, hold on. I'm having more technical difficulties. Okay, so that was finish number 4 of 2022. Finish number 3 of 2022 is, last year I was stitching the Cricut collection months of the year, and last month I finished January with you, actually. I didn't do that this month. I'm sorry. I don't don't know if you even bothered to like, or if you even liked it, but it was awkward and weird. So I just finished February by myself. I'm sorry. Anyway, so yes, so my third finish is collection February. How do I want to word? I'm not a fan of Valentine's Day. Not because I've never had a Valentine, which I've never had a Valentine, but I am under the school of thought that you should just love your people all the time. I don't know. I just feel like if somebody were to buy me flowers on a random Thursday, that would mean more than if they bought flowers on the designated I have to buy you flowers day. That's just my personal opinion. But everything to do with February is always Valentine's, and I was like, can we find something else in February to like too, please? She is finished. Ba-bum. Ooh, too big. There. February. I had finished. Had I started on this side? I might have started on this side because this side's just not quite three inches. So I might have started over here and did the Y and some of the R the first year I stitched. I started these in 2022, and then last year the A and the U, and then I did the R, B, E, F this month. Yeah, there's not much else to say about it. This big pink heart it's wrong. It's fine. You'd never be able to tell, but it's wrong. So I had to improvise, and this key is wrong, but again, you won't even know how. So they're wrong, but you'll never know. Whoops. Anyway, this is stitched on a 32 count Lugana. What's the name of it? I saved the sticker somewhere. Violet Mist Linen, 18 by 27. They're all on the same fabric. They're just all different colors. So yeah, there she is. Finish number 3. February is finished. I'm going to finish them all 12 of them, and then I'm going to figure out what to do with them because I'm going to finish them based on the longest month, which I think is September. So I'm going to finish September 1st and then figure out the size of the rest of them. But yeah, I love the colors in this. I'm a huge fan of pinks and purples, so I like the color of Valentine's Day. I just, like, look, there's a whole, like, mask ball. I love the E with the birdhouse and the little bird. The bird is wrong, too. It's fine. The crown is wrong. The crown is wrong, the heart is wrong, the bird is wrong, and the key is wrong, from what I can remember. There's probably something over here that's wrong, too. But it's okay, because you'll never know. Yeah. And that's honestly all of my stitching that I've done. Here's my floss bag for February. Here was my floss bag for the bead thing. Like, I have so many of the blue beads left. I have both left. The gold one is 00557, and the blue one is 02007. So if you need either one of these beads, just shoot me a message. I'll send them to you. Yeah. Okay. Good. That's it. Well, that's not it. That's it for stitching. That's what I've done. So then I have some haul. I have actually quite a lot of haul. I said that last time. Okay, I said that last time. I said that I went to the cross-stitch store and I went crazy, and then I showed you like 4 things. So crazy to me is pretty much more than one thing, which I do have more than one thing. So it's been a crazy month. So the first thing that I got is from my mother, who decided she was gonna learn to make project bags, just because I feel like she wakes up some days and just sort of is like, I'm gonna spin the roulette wheel of crafts, and then she just does whatever that day tells her to do. So she is making project bags. So she made me this one. They're cute. Look. It's a baby print, but I love it so much. So I can't remember whose tutorial she used, but like that's the inside fabric. And then she made me a little matching, like a buddy, I guess, and that's the inside, 2 different fabrics. And then she called these something, not 2, but I can't remember what she called them. But they're really cool looking. So I got a project bag from my mother. Currently it is holding all of the flosses that I'm using for June Blooms. So so everybody was going really crazy with floss drops this year, and I like floss drops, don't get me wrong, but I like bags a lot more. So I have all of my, although I don't have any green on here yet because I haven't stitched green for a while on the project. So this project doesn't actually fit in this bag. When I got it, that was the project I was working on, so I needed to move it over into the bag. The next thing that I got is I am subscribed to Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Clubs of the Month, both the fabric and floss clubs of the month. So this is January's fabric and floss of the month. I'm subscribing to 12 months of this because I have plans for 12 months worth of this. The fabric specifically, the floss is just a fun thing on top. So her fabric this month is a very periwinkle because periwinkle, I think, is the color this year. So it's coming out more like a deeper blue, but it's perfectly periwinkle. So I got the 32 count linen, 17 by 26. Yeah. Ugh, I just love her colors. So that was the fabric. And then I got also the floss pack, which are pretty much all different variations of periwinkle, which I'm not even mad about. It is called Love in a Mist. I haven't even opened it yet, so I don't know the fabric. I don't know the floss names. So you and I are going to learn them together. How do you like that? Okay, so just gonna shake them out over here. So the first one we have is called Forget Me Not. Steal this piece of paper. A nice light periwinkle. Forget Me Not. Then we have Love in the Mist. This one's really pretty. Ooh, this one's really pretty. It does like a nice variegation from blue to purple. Pretty. The next one is called Bluebell. Kind of like a medium shade of periwinkle. Well, it variegates a little. It goes a little bit lighter down here. But for the most part, it's like pretty much the same color as the fabric. Pretty much. Then we have Moonlight Sonata. A darker. Oh, it variegates lighter to the bottom. Oh, I'm very blue today. Blue bed, blue shirt, blue everything else. Moonlight Sonata, and then the last one I think is my favorite. Is Morning Glory. It's like a dark, dark blue with variegates to like a medium range purple. So, yeah. Ugh. I love her fabrics and her flosses. I haven't stitched with very many, but I love them nonetheless. So that's the color range. With the fabric. Yeah. Oof. Oof. Yeah. The package that I get when that comes, like when I'm, when I get it, it's the best time of the month. It's my favorite thing that I get in the mail. So that is Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers subscription pack. Then, everybody's been stitching, not everybody, but a lot of people that I follow have been stitching something from Owl Forest Embroidery, and like everybody and their mother was doing the Alice in Wonderland stitch last year, and I was humming and I was hawing, and I was, fighting with myself and trying to get Darcy's opinion because he really likes Alice in Wonderland too, and I decided that I was going to wait until the Cheshire Cat, and then the Cheshire Cat came out, and I liked the Cheshire Cat, but like really not anything else. All of that is to say, I really wanted to stitch an owl forest. Oh, geez. Sorry, hold on. More technical difficulties. I really wanted to stitch an owl forest piece. But nothing was hitting that sweet spot where I was like, yes, I must stitch. Until they released this pattern. And you're not going to be surprised, because if you know me, you know that I very much like things like this. But they released this Patchwork Calendar, and each one is a month of the year. Email. Look at that. Anyway, so pretty much each block has a plant and an animal. So, like, January, I don't know the plants, but January has, like, deer. February's got peacocks. There's squirrels, sheep, rabbits, snails, butterflies, bees, cats, foxes, birds, and owls. Anyway, so I was like, oh my gosh, I need that. So I bought the PDF pattern, and I bought the kit. So, I bought it, like, back in December or January when it came out, but the kit took a while to get to me, which is fine because it's coming from Russia, so I understand. So the kit is literally 12 squares of fabric. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so you get 12 squares of fabric, one for each of the months, and then at the end you're supposed to, like, sew them together to almost make it look like a quilt. I probably won't do that. I probably won't do that. So I got all 12 little thingies. And I got the floss. And Owl Force Embroidery. I ordered the Alice pack of floss. Just the 3-color one. Sorry, I'm just going to take them out. Just the 3-color one because I want... If I was going to do it, I wanted to have the floss, but I didn't end up doing it. But the floss is stunning. So I don't know which one is which in terms of months, but those are the colors. Look at those! Ugh. Ugh. I like that one. This one's my favorite. Or this one maybe is my favorite. They come with little wooden bobbins, which I don't like bobbins, so I probably won't bobbinate them, but the bobbins also have the number of the floss. So it's now the end of February, and I have not stitched January or February, but these are like perfect travel projects, right? Because you just like, you take your fabric and you take your floss of the month, and then you take your tablet and that's it. That's all you need. 3, like, hello, so easy. So, I'm trying to decide. I'm fighting with myself as to whether or not I want to start it this year. I probably won't. We'll see. We'll see. If I keep up with the stitching, I might have to, because I'm accidentally stitching really fast, I guess. So we'll see. But I bought that, and I'm so excited to start it whenever I get around to starting it. Yeah. And it'll probably be, like, I would take that to work. More on work later, but, like, once I get it more established there, I would take this to work and stitch on it at work. I'm sorry, I'll do this later. I'm not going to do this with you on screen. Okay. That's it. That's all I have for stitching. My plans for next month are to finish Cricut Collection March, which I'm not sure where I'm at with that one. Then I'm going to stitch a third of a page of Boho Spring Owl from Sandra Vargas, And then the rest of the month I'm going to spend on my Haid. We'll see how I do with that. I'm glad that I got to stitch so much on June Blooms the last 2 months, because the next 2 months we're going to see more on that in my life update, but we're going to see. But those are my plans. I don't have any more things that I might accidentally decide to be like, this I should stitch and finish for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I'm very finish happy this year because I now have 4 finishes out of a proposed 12, but 2 of those are outside of... Sorry, I have 4 finishes outside of 13 scheduled finishes, and one of those was a surprise, so I am ahead of schedule. Hi! Editing Megan here. And a train, apparently. I've changed my hair because I was editing. This book talk section, this next section of the video in my previous recording is like 20 minutes long, just about books. I just babbled about books for 20 minutes. I had a great time, but upon editing, I realized that that's probably too much information. So I'm going to refilm it and condense it down to something that is not a university length lecture. I watched a YouTuber or a Floss tuber this week, or this last couple while. She did like a reading, listening, and watching little segment, so I'm going to do that here. Primarily reading, because I read a lot this month. So I'm going to do reading. Books. Last video, I was reading Dune, and I was very unhappy with Dune. This month, I have finished Dune. Thank God. What did I say last month? We were wandering the desert. I don't know. They just told me, the author, who is this? Frank Herbert, told us a bajillion times about the desert. Like, I know we're on a sand planet. You do not need to describe every single sand dune that we pass. Anyway, so I got to, it's a 3-book book. Like, there's book 1, book 2, book 3 in this book. And book 1 was very good because it established your characters, your relationships. There was some tragedy. You felt the loss. Book 2 was wandering the desert, and I just felt like it was just so unnecessary for it to be that long. Book 3 really, really picked up. Like, I feel like book 3 could have been its own whole story. You skip forward a couple years, you know, it's good. Paul is established in his community. You know, he's got little stuff. I won't ruin it, but it's good. And then a whole bunch of stuff happens really quickly, and then the book is resolved. And I liked the resolution. I was really happy with the resolution. Probably because it was finished. But also, what I wanted to happen happened in pretty much every character's case. The one thing I will say is that there was a character death at the end of the book that I feel like was supposed to be very significant, and I didn't care as much as I probably should have because I was so exhausted with this book. So, whoops. But also, maybe don't write about sand dunes for 40 bajillion pages. So, 2 out of 5. I still have to read the rest of the series. It's a 6-book series. And I am still interested enough in the world to read more. Just, like, not right now. We're taking a break from the sand planet, and I will come back when I'm ready for some more mental torture. So that was Dune. After I finished that, that took me like 2 months to read. After I finished that, I needed something fluffy. I needed something just fluffy. A guilty pleasure read, if you will. And I went to my go-to guilty pleasure author, Jenna Showalter. Not these two, just this one. This is a book that has 3 books. It's like a compilation book. Anyway, so I didn't read the whole book because I don't care about these first 2 authors. I just read the last third of the book, and I was very impressed with my progress. Open the book. I'm already a third of the way through, or 2/3 of the way through. Speed. Jenna Showalter writes supernatural fantasy romance, heavy on the romance. If you don't like it's a very, I would say it's kind of a niche market. So if you don't like that, then pay no attention to this. She writes multi-book series. So this is a part of a book. It's part of the Alien Huntress series. And it has a resolution in it that's a pretty big deal. Like, it almost seems like it's the resolution of the whole series. And I just kind of thought that it was weird that she would shove it in a compilation book. Like, that, the main bad person, like the main bad character, the main villain in the whole series has their resolution arc in this little book. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird that she would just shove it in Anyway, the book was great. The characters were great. It was a good read. Just kind of a weird, I thought it was a weird place to put the book, but 4 out of 5. After I finished that book, I was still in a needing something light to read mindset, so I picked up The Cat Who Saved Books. It is a younger reader book, so I read it really fast. I think I read it in a week. It is set in Japan. It's translated from Japanese. I think it's very obviously translated from Japanese because some of the sentence structure and some of the phrases that the characters use took me aback a little. I was like, oh, it's kind of rude. But I think that's just translation, the way that it was translated. It is a cute book. It's a predictable, light read. And I liked the story. What I will say is that even though I liked the story, I didn't like any of the characters, really. The main character is he's a young teenager who's dealing with some loss and figuring out his life. It's got a cat who, I love cats, but this particular cat was an asshole. That might have been because of the translation though. But I don't know, he would just talk and I'd be like, that's rude. Why do you have to be so rude? Why you gotta be so rude? There's a girl in here somewhere. There's like tertiary characters. It's good. It is good. If you're in for something like light to read and just easy, go for it. The ending is nice. I liked the ending. I couldn't decide how the book was going to end as I'm reading it. I was like, it's either going to end like this, like A, or it's going to end like B. And I really wanted the B ending, and I got the B ending, so phew. I'm happy with the ending. It has it has Studio Ghibli vibes. Just, you kind of get like whisked away by a talking animal on a fantastical adventure, and you like save some books. It has some good quotes. This train is taking a long time to go through the city. It has a lot of quotes about books, so if you like books, it's pretty much a book about books. Should I ruin it for you? Maybe I will. My favorite quote in the book is at the very, very end, when Rintaro, the main character, is talking to the final quest person, and the conversation is like, what is the power of books? And Rintaro basically says that the power of books is empathy, because it teaches you to care about books teach you to care about other people, even if your life doesn't. I thought that was beautiful, so I was like, man, that single quote really made the book for me. So anyway, book, I don't know, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, it was good. I wouldn't read it again, but it was good. This next book is what took 20 minutes for me to talk about, so I'm just going to condense it, and by condense I mean probably talk really quickly, so maybe take me off of 1.5 speed. I'm just kidding. I don't know if you do that. Sometimes if a video is really long and I just want to like make the most out of my stitching time and watch a million Floss videos at the same time, I'll put people on faster speeds. Certain people I cannot. There's certain segments of Darcy's videos I have to like, he goes too fast if I put him too fast, so I bring him back down to normal speed. I went to go and visit my friend outside. She lives outside of North Bay, and I had a large chunk of my childhood was spent in North Bay. We have family up there, and I went to school up there. I went to Nipissing University. So I've spent a large chunk of my life in North Bay. And the reason I say that is because my friend and I went to the Calendar Museum, which is a little town outside of North Bay, and the Calendar Museum has a whole room dedicated to the Dion quintuplets. And I had never heard of the Dion quintuplets. And my friend was like, no, you have. You just like, maybe you don't remember. So I'm like reading everything. She's telling me about them. I'm like, I have never heard of the Dion quintuplets. And it was a huge part of Canadian history, world history. I had never heard of them. I don't know if you have. If you have, good for you. Good for you. If you haven't, welcome to the club. But to summarize, the Dion quintuplets were the first quintuplets, 5 born and survived in the history of the world. And it was a really big deal because it happened, I think it happened in the Great Depression. And the media around the kids was incredibly controversial, and they were like taken from their home, and they were turned into like these huge marketing. It was a big deal. It was like, I don't know, controversial, politics, blah, blah, blah. big stuff. Never heard of it. I was like, oh shit. Oops. I was like, oh shoot. Anyway, so it was almost like she told me that there was a whole other continent that I did not know about. I was like, how did I not? Anyway, I was a little embarrassed. So I bought the book. I bought The Miracle and Tragedy of the Dion Quintuplets so that I can learn about this very important piece of Canadian history that apparently never came across my desk. So I will be an expert on the Dion Quintuplets later. So far, it's really good. It's written by Sarah Miller. It's written like a story, not like a biography. So I just started it. They have been born and are still just barely living. So it's good so far. I think once we get into like the politics of it all, it'll be a slower pace, but so far so good. That's what I'm reading right now. What I am reading right now. What I am watching right now, my brother and I went to go see Spider-Man, the newest one, in theaters, and I cried 3 times, which I was not expecting from a Spider-Man film. Thank you. I won't ruin anything, but I cried once because I was really upset. I cried once because I was really happy, and I cried once because I was really upset. But overall, it was great. I think it's the best Spider-Man movie so far, out of all of them, and it made me really happy overall. What else am I watching? My roommate and I just started Shadow and Bone last night because I love Ben Barnes. I can't believe it took me this long to watch that show because Ben Barnes is a good-looking human. Wow. It's a good show. The problem is that we're very distracted by the character who plays Kaz because the actor looks so familiar to us, but we can't figure out who he is. And none of his none of his previous films or shows match anything that we've watched. So we're trying to figure out who he looks like or maybe who he secretly is. I was up last night trying to figure it out, and I feel like I've sort of worked myself into a conspiracy theory, but it's a good show. I've never read the books that it's based on, neither has my roommate. So we were a little like, what is happening? Who is this? What are they referring to? But it all kind of works itself out as you watch it. So very good. I do recommend it. Although I haven't finished the series, so far it's very good. I'm an avid podcast listener, so I'm not going to go over all of my podcasts, but I will say that I am listening to the 7th book in the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett, which the same friend who lives outside of North Bay, Emily, got me hooked on this Discworld series like a year and a half-ish ago. And it's so good and so funny. Terry Pratchett is master of the word. It's got like Monty Python-esque humor in like a nice fantasy Dungeons and Dragon type world. Very good. This one that I'm reading now is called Pyramids, so it's set in the Discworld's version of Egypt. It's very good. It's very quickly becoming one of my favorite books in the series that I read so far. There's 41 books, and I'm on book 7. So we're in it for the long haul. But that's what I'm listening to. That's what I'm watching, and that's what I'm reading. Oh, I cut off like 8 minutes. Good for me. I'm going to jump into my life update section here too, because that one ran really long in my previous recording as well. Life update. Last video I told you I quit my job. I started a new job. It's going well. I started it on Tuesday. I've only been there 4 days, but it's going well. It's a lot of information overload, but I think that's part and parcel of starting a new job. The downside to this is I started at probably the worst time in the year to start. It's a tax firm, and tax season starts next week. So I have to learn a lot of stuff and retain a lot of stuff in order to be a useful employee for the next 2 months. So I'm feeling the pressure a little to catch on really quickly. I am generally a fast learner, so like it's not a big deal. The hardest part for me right now at this job, their digital database is a work of art. The problem I'm having is remembering who everybody is. There's like 40 people. Like, who are you? Have I met you already? Actually, I introduced myself to somebody, and then about 20 minutes later, I introduced myself to them again because I forgot who they were. And they were not impressed. They were like, yeah, we talked. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I also just met like 40,000 people, so sorry. I'm a smart person, I promise. But yeah, no, that's going well. I could crap talk my previous employer here, but I'm not going to. I'm happy I'm not there anymore. Anyway, long story short, TLDR. I'm happy I'm not at my previous job. Yeah. All's well. Okay. That's it. That's all I've got. I did the things. I did the books. I shorted that down for you. You're welcome. And yeah, have a happy March. I don't really know what's happening in March. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.